Alright, so first one, Simpsons. What are we thinking?
I'd say about 7 out of 10 for The Simpsons.
Yeah, I mean, it's got some pretty good stuff. But it was like better like when it originally started, but then
because like.
But then later on,
it's not as great these
days.
It's not as great as it once was.
I have something to say about The Simpsons.
Okay.
I give it a yellow out of 10.
Good one. So we're good with B tier or A tier?
Personally, I'd have to say C tier with it. It's not my favorite.
Yeah, I'd have to say C tier as well, actually, for The Simpsons.
Okay, what about you?
Well, the only episode I have any extensive knowledge of is the episode Homer's Enemy, because a YouTuber made a dedicated review of it, and I watched that.
Alright, well, I guess I'm doing C tier then. Family Guy.
I'd have to rate that one a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, that's a pretty good show. It was definitely really funny earlier on in the beginning with the dynamic of the family. Mm-hmm. Yeah, some of the characters were definitely different. Like Lois was definitely different with her voice and how she acts. A lot of the characters nowadays act a lot different in the modern episodes of Family Guy. So I guess B tier. That seems pretty generous. South Park.
10 out of 10.
Yeah, it's a pretty great show.
Yeah, same. That show is an A tier for me.
Yeah,
definitely A tier.
Yeah, it's always been funny.
S tier. The reason it's not S tier for me is sometimes it does touch on really touchy topics.
Right. Yeah.
But that's where the funny part comes in.
Yeah.
Because they just poke fun at everything.
The jokes have always been funny from the start of the show till now. I would give it maybe an S tier or maybe an A tier.
And I mean,
I'm not sure.
It just takes the mindset of just originally just 4 or 5 kids that just have their like seemingly adult opinions on.
Yeah, even though they have adult mindsets, they are still kids at the end of the day. I'd give it an S tier. Screw it. Futurama.
I haven't seen it.
I have to say
Really?
C tier.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I'd actually say of all the shows you've mentioned so far, that's probably the one I'd have the most interest in actually watching based on what I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's been a while since I've seen it though, and they've recently like brought it back on Hulu.
Or should I say from greedy companies that want more money because their more modern properties aren't performing as well as the glory days ones.
Futurama, it's alright, but it's kind of overstating the distant future. This guy's come up with everything. It's like, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I'd give it a solid B tier. The Boondocks.
I'm giving that one an S.
Yeah, it's a pretty good show. I like how they handle the topic of black culture and how they do everything pretty well with that.
Definitely S tier. Show was funny. I honestly wish it wasn't only 4 seasons. That show deserved at least 10 in my opinion.
Yeah, a while ago it was announced that there was supposed to be a revival of it, but it got canceled for whatever reason. But yeah, I really wish that it would have kept going. Yeah, the 4th season wasn't as good because the original creator wasn't a part of it. He was like fired from it or something. That one's easily an S tier for me.
Because with the Boondocks, I find it hilarious because it's almost like they're not being recorded and they just don't care what they're saying because everything that's said, the words, the opinions, the thoughts, even just the ideas that are just slung around in the show it's almost like the camera's not there and it's just a day in viewing. Certain episodes are just certain days of just this perspective of these individuals as if there's no camera.
Yeah, plus the jokes themselves just hit.
The jokes are hilarious.
Especially with the R. Kelly one, the second episode.
I think my favorite episode was with Stink Wiener.
Oh yeah. You got a problem with that?
Yep.
I'm not gonna say it because, well, I'm white.
Especially because when Stink Wiener eventually actually rears his head, he's like, that part actually got me because then it's almost like that person just snaps, which I think we all have a moment in our life where we want to do that.
Rick and Morty.
8 out of 10, so probably A tier.
I'd have to give it a little higher than that just because every episode is just a wild card.
Yeah.
And
for real.
If you just were to take one episode from every single season and put them together, that could be its own season.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like you take season 1, episode 3, season 4, episode 2, it could go together as a season because every single season and episode is so different.
Rick and Morty, all these shows, is one that that's that thing of what's called like Schrodinger's cat.
Schrodinger's cat, yeah.
Yeah, where it's like you don't know if it's dead or not until you open the box. Rick and Morty is that for me, where I feel like if I watch
box.
No.
I learned about this from a Doctor Who audio drama, actually, but it's well, anyway, I'm not going to explain it. The point is, I feel like I would either really like it or I would hate it, and there's no in between if I watched it. Because the reason I might like it is because my favorite show of all time is Doctor Who, and it feels like it's basically that, but like adult cartoon instead, But the reason I'm afraid of it is I haven't seen many clips of the show online that appealed to me.
Yeah, I can definitely understand that.
It's like the concept appeals to me, but what I've seen of it doesn't, so it's tricky for me.
Invincible.
Haven't seen it.
I've only seen a couple episodes of the second season, but I have seen the whole thing of the first season. Like the first couple episodes of the second season I haven't seen yet. And the release schedule order of the second season has not been that great because they had like a mid-season break for season 2 and it threw the whole groove off or something. But the show itself, I think, is pretty neat. I enjoyed the first season with Omni-Man, like how he's not as great as everyone thought he was.
I was also going to say, on the topic of Invincible, my brother has actually seen that entire show, and he thought it was very good.
Oh, nice.
So, even though I can't give an opinion on it, I actually do plan on watching that one definitively, although he's only seen the first season, for the record. I don't think he's seen the second one, but he was actually interested in seeing the second one when it was announced.
Well, it's definitely pretty graphic and violent, so.
Oh, graphic violence is the least issues of any issues I would have with anything. Like, that's the lowest priority of them all.
All right, so overall, I'd give it a B tier. American Dad.
I'm gonna have to give that one a 4. It's just it hits too much with the real life scenarios and happening, and just with how overarching every single stereotype that they mention in the show. It's gone that extra 2 steps just too far to where it's not funny. But there is that niche of their community that there are people who have a little bit more of a boundary to where they find that funny. Me, it's just not my thing. To where from the very little bits and pieces I've seen, yes, it does have its moments, but it's not the kind of show that I'm gonna watch and immediately I'm rolling around on the floor laughing.
Well, I think you said it best. So, C tier? Yeah, C tier.
Well, a high C, like a C plus.
I see like the drink. That's a dad joke. Bob's Burgers.
I've actually seen the Bob's Burgers movie.
Yes, I saw it in theaters.
I would have to say
I saw it in theaters.
either a B tier or a C tier.
Yeah, because some of the jokes are pretty funny.
I didn't like the movie, for the record.
Oh, okay.
I only watched it because I was working on a massive project to rank every Disney animated movie ever, and they technically own the property, so it counts for my ranking, which is why I watched it.
Yeah.
But I was not impressed particularly by it. I thought some parts were okay, but other parts just kind of annoyed me. And if the show is similar to the movie, I'm not sure I would have too high of an opinion of it.
I mean, I enjoy it. I don't watch it all the time. I just watch it whenever I do. Plus, one of the actors is the same one from Gravity Falls.
Yeah, I will say one thing about the show is it really highlights the struggle of someone who's starting a small business that wants to support his family. Yes, they have issues, but it highlights that's the good part about the episode, and that's what makes them a family.
Yeah, I was going to say, in regards to the whole family topic of it, is also part of what I was referring to with like the parts I liked of the movie when I saw it was more so that side. Although this part's just a personal thing too, but like the wife's voice always throws me off because it's like a guy voicing the character, and that outside of Edna mode, there's very few times where that works perfectly.
I would give it a B tier. That seems pretty generous. So that's our ranking on adult cartoons. Hope you enjoyed. Like, sub, share, and goodbye.